Alright guys, welcome back to the Capri Salon. For the theme of this video today is going to be focusing on dryness. So the way that it's going to start is we're going to ask if she has any questions, and then if there's no questions, we're going to get into like a mini crash course about all things dryness and kind of the process that you'll want to go through if you are struggling with dryness. So this past week I actually didn't do her hair, she did twists. So you want to share how it was for you doing your hair for the first time in a month, and then if you have any questions, what are they?
I felt out of place because I've been so used to you doing it, but I enjoyed. This is the first time that my twists have ever lasted about a week, usually because my hair was so thin. I would have to redo it or take it out within 2 days. But this time it lasted about 5 days because my hair is becoming thicker. And with the thickness, the twists are thicker. And so that was cool to see. Cool to see that this is working to thicken my hair, to grow my hair, to moisturize my hair. And I don't really have any questions this week, but I'm just enjoying the process, because sometimes when you start, you're not in the right place, or you're not in the place that you feel like you want to be in. And maybe the first couple of weeks, it can be also hard because you don't really see any change. But I think we're in week 5 or 6. So to see the thickness happening and different changes happening, I'm just excited about the rest of the journey.
I think this is week 6. So yeah, I don't remember, did you say before this series you were putting your hair mostly in ponytails every day?
So I was washing it. I was probably doing the twist for about a day and a half to 2 days. And then after that, yes, I was mostly putting it up. But my routine also did not signify like what you did. So how you wet it first, then put the moisture and things like that, I wasn't doing any of that. And so the dryness, it was there, and you can tell my hair was brittle, it was dry. It just wasn't healthy. And so with this process and just listening to some of your tips and implementing those tips and just seeing, how far that's brought me. And so that's really what I feel like has been the effect.
So, okay. So yeah, so I think if you are starting like your hair journey and you have thinning, or your hair doesn't look the way it once did, I think a lot of time the number one reason for that is the hairstyles that people, well, not the number one reason, but a big reason is the hairstyles that people are choosing. And ponytails, especially slick back ponytails, are like the worst hairstyles that people do every day, but they have like the worst effect on your hair. So just taking 4 weeks, 6 weeks to stop doing that, you will see a change in your hair. And like she said, just make sure you stick it out at least 2 months before you start changing things, so you can really see the results that you're looking for. So since she doesn't have any questions, we can get right into the lesson. And so today we are focusing on dryness, which dryness is probably one of the biggest struggles that you will experience. It might be like neck and neck with breakage, but the thing is that dryness can cause breakage. Dryness has like a ripple effect in your hair, and a lot of things can go wrong when your hair is dry. So to combat dryness, a lot of people, they will start adding oils and butters to their hair. They might start clarifying their hair. They might start doing all these things, but the number one thing you want to start with is making sure you are getting enough water in your hair. And so a lot of times people might think that's just like, oh, spraying water on your hair, getting a spray bottle, and that's part of it. You do want to have a spray bottle. You do want to make sure you're applying product on hair that is wet or damp. But what we're going to do is go deeper than that and talk about the process of actually getting water inside your hair. And that is one of the reasons why doing a wash day once a week is so powerful and so important, because shampoo actually opens up your cuticle and allows water to enter your hair shaft. So not just like sit on your hair, it like actually goes in your hair, and that is how you allow water to enter into your hair. If you have low porosity hair, steam also does that, and heat will help you with that as well. So when I say make sure your hair has enough water in it, I'm not talking about this like spraying water on your hair. I'm talking about opening that cuticle so that water can actually penetrate your hair. And then Once you do that, then you can start adding oils and butters. But if you notice your hair is dry and you just spray some water on it and then maybe add an oil or butter, or you just go right to the oils and butters, the problem is not going to be fixed, because the problem is that your hair doesn't have enough water in it. And a lot of people, they do use oils and butters to start, and they realize that their hair is not getting any better, and that is the reason why. The oils and butters will slow down. Once water is in your hair, like with everything else, water evaporates. So it'll slowly begin to evaporate, and oils and butters will help them stay in your hair will help the water stay in your hair longer, and it slows down that evaporation process. But oils and butters don't create water in your hair. So you really have to start with figuring out how you're going to get more water in your hair. There was like a post that went viral recently of a woman asking, or I think she was sharing that she washes her hair 2 times a week or something, or sharing that the cheat code is washing your hair once a week. And I'm in this Facebook group for natural hair, and someone was saying that washing your hair that frequently is not for natural hair. Like, we shouldn't be doing that to our hair. And that's just one of like the biggest myths that I feel like keep people stuck in, is the reason that people are not seeing the length that they want, and why so many people are struggling with dryness and breakage. And I'm not saying you need to wash your hair twice a week or anything like that, unless you know you're very active, you go to the gym every day, and your scalp sweats a lot. If you are someone who sweats a lot, then maybe you do wash your hair that often, which is totally fine. But at least you want to be washing once a week. And if you're someone that feels like you experience a lot of breakage when you shampoo, it's something that you are doing to your hair either before, during, or after that's causing that breakage. But the actual act of shampooing your hair itself does not cause your hair to break off, unless your hair has been dry for so long that it's now brittle, and so any manipulation like washing, styling, detangling causes breakage. But washing your hair once a week is like the starting point for better moisture retention and better moisture just in general. So that is like the best thing you can do, is wash your hair at least once a week. Outside of that, the next best thing you can do is deep condition. You don't have to deep condition every single week. You can start with the frequency that you want. So let's say that's once a month, and see how your hair reacts. If your hair is still dry after once a month, then do twice a month. If your hair is still dry after that, then you might need a deep condition every single week, or you might need a better deep conditioner and better products so that your hair is not so dry. So what deep conditioning does is also gets moisture into your hair, and it also helps your hair hold on to moisture better. Sometimes your hair strand becomes damaged. It could be due to heat, it could be chemical processing, it could be that you bleached your hair, it could be sun damage, and sometimes the hair structure is damaged and it doesn't allow water to sit as long. So deep conditioning can repair that barrier. Certain ingredients also repair that barrier, like sunflower oil, which is one of the ingredients in our leave-in conditioner, which really helps you to retain moisture longer. So that is what deep conditioning does. But then they also have like different specialty deep conditioners, so it's not just for moisture. But if you are deep conditioning frequently, you do want to make sure that you have a moisturizing deep conditioner to help your hair hold on to moisture better. So on wash day, those are the 2 things you want to focus on to help your hair absorb more water and also hold on to it. And I would say before you shampoo as well, what you want to do is make sure your hair absorbs water before you add the product. And just make sure you are using a lot of water. I think water is underused in a lot of people's routines, and so is washing. So those are the 2 things you want to start doing immediately, I guess, on wash day, is increase the wash day frequency, deep condition a little bit more, and then get a good quality deep conditioner. This deep conditioner, honey is a second ingredient, and honey really softens the hair. It makes your hair easier to work with, easier to detangle. It makes your hair more flexible, more elastic. And so if you are having, like, if you dread wash day and your wash days are just painful, they're a headache, you have to mentally prepare for them, it's probably because your hair is dry and it's giving you a hard time because it doesn't have the moisture. Like, dry hair becomes more stiff, it doesn't bend as easily, it's harder to detangle. Dry hair knots faster, it creates knots, it creates tangles. You have a lot of those single strand knots. Like, dryness just creates so many problems, and it probably makes managing your hair a nightmare. So once you start getting that moisture in, it shouldn't take long. If your hair is like chronically dry and you've been neglecting it for a while, I would say give it a month, but it really shouldn't take longer than that to start correcting that and to start having an easier wash day experience. So this deep conditioner, again, honey is a second ingredient, and so it just makes your hair easier to work with. It also has panthenol, which does a great job at softening the hair. And then we also have bamboo extract, baobab oil, and just a lot of great ingredients that help shorten wash day, shorten detangling time. Any type of knot or tangle you have in your hair will be gone very quickly. I would say it takes me less than 20 minutes to detangle every single time. So definitely get your hands on this deep conditioner. She's gonna let this sit for 20 minutes and then we will be back to do, I think we're doing twist today, or are we doing a wash and go?
I'll try the twist again.
So we're gonna do twist. So we'll be back in 20 minutes. All right, guys, so the deep conditioner has been rinsed out. So now we are going to start with the styling process. This is what her hair looks like after the deep conditioner. As you can see, the curls are pretty defined. I feel like this is the best her hair has looked after deep conditioner. So we are seeing some improvements. So today we are doing a twist out. The whole time we've been doing this series, well, not a twist out. Did you do a twist out or was it just twist?
Twist.
Do you remember the size of the twist you did?
No.
What is your desired size? Do you like a chunky twist look or a mini twist look or like a medium?
I would say medium.
For the entirety of this series, we've been doing wash and goes. So now to do twist is going to be interesting to see.
I've always been afraid for you to do twist in my hair because I'm not sure if you would know how to do that in my hair. So it will be very interesting to see. I mean, I like the way the twists come out for your hair that you do on your hair.
There's always a learning curve with everything, but I think it's good to experiment so you can see different ways that people might do things. When I do my twist, I always pre-section my hair, but that is because I've learned the sections that work for me. So with the new head of hair, kind of like learning for the first time. She does have fine hair, so it's gonna be different for me because I don't have fine hair, but I'm going to do my best. So with dryness, which is also very layered, just like breakage, sometimes you can get dryness from certain medical conditions or medication that you're taking. Sometimes it could be the water, if you live in a hard water state, and then sometimes that leads people to over clarify their hair. I've seen people who clarify their hair every single wash day. That is too much. You don't need to be clarifying your hair that much because then you're going to cause dryness. You don't want to be overdoing anything. You always want to start off maybe doing something once a month and then adjusting your process from there. Aside from anything internal, aside from over clarifying, aside from not clarifying enough, I think the next thing that people struggle with is just the products that people are using are not moisturizing, and maybe the way that they're applying them. So as you can see, I just sprayed water onto her hair, and before we even started, we made sure she had enough water in her hair. Her hair has already absorbed water by shampooing, by allowing that water to absorb in her hair before she applied the shampoo, by deep conditioning. Now her hair is ready to hold on to moisture. Now it has the ability to hold on to moisture. So now I'm spraying a little bit more water in her hair and then working that water in her hair, not just spraying it and moving on. You always want to apply things in a downward motion like this to help your hair shaft absorb it. And then, like I was saying, it's just that people are not, the products that are available are not very moisturizing. And I actually wanted to share, like when I was first formulating Capri, I looked at different options for how I wanted to formulate my products. And you can actually, like anybody can do this. You can find a manufacturer. And by the way, for the twists, we are using Capri's leave-in conditioner and flaxseed gel. Do you use oil in your hair anymore? No, because it was causing like your face to break out. Or do you still use it?
I massage my scalp with oil, but I don't use it as a moisturizer anymore. Well, not in the summer anyway, because with the heat, it was causing the oil to drip down my face. So I haven't done that, but I do use it to massage my roots, like you said to do.
Okay. So, yeah, so we're just using the leave-in conditioner in gel. With high porosity hair, it is recommended 2-layer products, but you don't always have to. Especially with this leave-in conditioner, is different from a lot of other leave-in conditioners because it's creamier. So a lot of people, if you're using a leave-in conditioner that's not as creamy, it's a lot more watery, thinner, you might definitely need to layer products. But with this one, if you have high porosity hair, you might be fine with just using this by itself. But like I was saying, with formulating products, you can call or find a manufacturer, a warehouse or whatever that does formulations, and you can fill out an intake form. And one of the questions they ask you is, you know, what are a couple products on the market that you like, that you kind of want to replicate, that you want to copy. And you can also do private label. So there's a lot of people that just sell products, and then you can buy those products and then just put your own label on it and do your own marketing and kind of just sell somebody else's formula. So there's a lot of products on the market that are, one, just variations of other products that might be working, and then there's other products on the market that are exact copies, just with different labels. And a lot of people don't know that. So I didn't opt to do that. I did all my formulas myself, and I make all of my products here at home. So this is a completely unique formula. It's not copying any formula out there. I actually made sure that when I was choosing the ingredients, like at the time, this was like almost 10 years ago. At that time, glycerin was in almost every single leave-in conditioner, and so I purposely made sure not to include glycerin in my leave-in conditioner, because sometimes people have allergies to certain products, and sometimes, you know, you just want something different. So glycerin doesn't work for everyone, so I wanted to make sure that I did not include that in my leave-in conditioner. So this formula is really special. There's no filler ingredients, there's no anything that just doesn't make sense. All the ingredients you could pronounce, they're clean, they have organic herbs in them. It's just a really moisturizing, really nice formula. With the way that I'm twisting her hair, a lot of people don't realize there's two directions you can twist in. So you can twist clockwise or counterclockwise. I actually don't know which direction is which. Like, I know which direction is which, but when I'm twisting, I don't know how to explain it. But what I will say is I recommend that you experiment, especially if you're wearing a twist out. Experiment with twisting in both directions. Obviously, like, not on the same twist, but maybe you can do half your head in one direction and the other half the other direction, but you will get two different curl patterns. Maybe, you know, one wash day you twist clockwise and the second wash day you twist counterclockwise. You will get two different curl patterns, and you can choose which one you like best, because sometimes people might not like twist outs, but they're twisting in a direction that doesn't give them the best definition. So if you've always only twisted in one direction, twist in the other one to see if you like twist outs a little bit better that way. So in this bottom half of her hair, I'm gonna do 3 twists. And I also have jewelry. I don't know if you want any jewelry in your twist.
I can try some. I'm open. You've created me to be open to things, and so I'm open.
When you do your twist, do you part your hair at all, or you kind of just like let the parts fall?
I usually part it.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, sometimes people just part their hair how it naturally falls. So this would be interesting to see. But if you already part it, then it doesn't apply. So the way that I'm doing this, especially well, this is kind of easy because we're working in small sections already, but I would say another point for dryness is the way that you apply your products. You want to make sure you're applying them in sections where it's reaching all the strands of your hair, and not just applying in big sections, because then the product doesn't reach like the middle of your roots, where probably you're experiencing some breakage too, because there's a lot of dryness and your hair has become really brittle in that area. So just make sure you are working in small enough sections. And yeah, so here you can watch me split it down the middle like this, and then I'm going to twist this way. So I believe that's clockwise.
I believe clockwise is like going the direction of the clock, and then counterclockwise is like going not in the direction away from the clock. But I could be wrong, so don't come after me, social media.
Yeah, I believe this is clockwise. I wasn't saying that I don't know the difference between clockwise and counterclockwise. I'm just saying it's harder for me to tell, like, with hair, the direction I'm going in. Alright guys, so now we are about 50% of the way through. I ended up doing, so the section down here is a little bit bigger, well, more like wider, I would say. So there's only 3 twists down here. I feel like if I would have split it up more, the twist would have been too small. But in the midsection of her hair, I think the hair around this section is a little bit thicker, and I was in, obviously her head is a little bit wider, so there's more hair. So here I did 4 twists. I think it looks pretty good so far. We're gonna keep going now, doing the top part. I think what I'm gonna do now is split it up like this. Do you ever wear your twists down?
Yes, I would prefer to wear them down. I don't think that I ever get them in a twist pattern, I think because of the way I don't know, angle it, but where I can do that, but I would prefer to wear them down.
So like I said at the beginning, I like to pre-section the hair. Kind of like when I do my twist outs, I pre-section them in the way that I want to wear them down. So what I'm going to do now is kind of like split it up here, so that if she does want to wear them down, it looks presentable. So even though this section is facing this way, I'm not going to twist all of them in this direction, because then you would see it would kind of look weird here. So I'll probably do a couple more here and then gradually turn them so that it falls that way, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna do that and then I'll be right back. Again, we're gonna add some water. When you are adding water to your hair, you don't want to saturate it to the point where like it's as if you just put your head underwater, because sometimes when you do that, that kind of makes it so it's diluted. So when you add the product, you're gonna add less product because it'll appear that your hair has too much product on it. So then that might contribute to a little bit of dryness, just because you're not using as much product as you could. So yeah, you do want to start on damp hair. And then I also wanted to talk more about this leave-in conditioner, because when you have a product that allows you to retain moisture, it really changes the game for you. And the ingredients that we put in this product are really, really special. And I think a lot of people, when they read the ingredients list, they get really, really happy. And if you read the reviews on our website, and even sometimes in the comments people leave reviews, like the number one thing that people say is they've tried so many products before this and this was the only thing. Like people start losing hope, they get discouraged, and this is the only thing. Like if you go on our website, I promise 80% of the reviews, they've tried everything and this was like the one thing. And that's because the formula is so unique. We have sunflower oil, sweet almond oil, mango butter, honey. We have hibiscus powder. We have organic nettle leaf, fenugreek seeds, peony root. All those ingredients are really good for stopping breakage, reducing shedding. And then also we have like star ingredients. Like I would say mango butter and the sunflower oil are star ingredients, because what those two ingredients do is it takes the water that's already in your hair and it creates a barrier on your strands to keep that water in. So if you're struggling with retaining moisture, this leave-in conditioner and the flaxseed gel is really, really going to help you to retain moisture longer than you ever have before without really doing any extra work. And flaxseed gel too is really special because it naturally contains ingredients that strengthen your hair, and it's a really nice water-based gel. And because it's a natural gel, it doesn't require any added ingredients, any films or ingredients that would cause dryness or your hair to flake or anything like that. And flaxseed gel, the mucilage is also naturally moisturizing, so this combo is really going to add a boost of moisture to your hair. And if you haven't had that in a long time, you will start to see improvements in your hair very, very quickly, and it'll just be really nice, especially if you can stay consistent. Like when we first started, she was having her scalp was hurting due to, I would say, scalp dryness. How many times this week did you massage your scalp?
I've mastered doing once a week so now I'm trying to get to twice a week.
So even with that, just like once a week, she is still experiencing now no like scalp tightness or that like feeling that it hurts when someone's styling her hair. So if you could just stay consistent, even if you're not doing everything perfectly, you're still going to see a lot of improvements. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be whatever your best is, and you'll still see some results. As you can see, these are the two I just added for this top section. And they're not perfect squares. Not that these are perfect squares, but they're not like square shaped like these are. They're kind of like a rhombus shape, and they kind of like curve to this direction. Whereas now I'm twisting the rest of this section and I'm twisting downwards this way. So you kind of want to, it's hard to do on your own if you're not using a mirror, but you want to do your best to kind of curve the twist to your head. So definitely section your hair out, and just because you section it doesn't mean that that's exactly how the hair is going to lay or stay. You just want to give yourself like a map to kind of work with so that it makes it a little bit easier when you're styling. I think with her, she can choose to wear it down if she wants, or she can do like a half up, half down style. I think when we're all done, that would be nice to see, to show you guys, and maybe experiment with different things like that. So if you do have this similar hair type, this is a tutorial, because I know a lot of people, not that these are mini twists, but I think this is probably as mini as you might want to go with fine hair, because I feel like if you can probably do a little bit smaller, but if you do too small, I feel like that would result in a lot of tangles, and then the takedown process would probably be really dangerous and not really supportive of a length retention goal, because there'd probably be a lot of tangling. Not that you can't do it. You can use a pre-poo. A lot of people use flaxseed gel actually to take down their mini twists. I've gotten that as a recommendation. I did mini twists for a little while, and then I realized that the takedown process just wasn't for me. I had to be too careful, and I didn't enjoy it. It was taking me like over an hour to do, so I decided I don't want to do that anymore. I might, do mini twists once a year, once in the blue moon, but not as my every 2 week style. When I was doing mini twists, I did do it every 2 weeks. Now I'm back to washing my hair weekly, which is fine, but that's not something that I can do every month because it just takes too much out of me on wash day to do. Alright guys, this is the final result. I think these are a lot smaller than I intended to do, but I think honestly like this is probably around the perfect size. We can always continue to experiment, but I think this is around the perfect size for mini twists. And like I was saying, you could do like a really nice half up, half down, or a really nice style like this where you take like a little bit of the front and do a little scrunchie, and you can leave like 2 twists out in the front. But yeah, I think there's a lot of nice styles you could do with this. You could also leave it down if she would like to. Are you gonna set under the dryer? She's gonna sit under the dryer. Whatever questions you have about dryness, let me know in the comments, and then check out this next video about breakage.